Bow, 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 from my head down to my toe. I love my little bow. Bow, 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 bow. Everywhere I go, you know I love my bow.
Welcome to Joyful DIYs. Hi, I'm Joyful Day. Each week, I make a new DIY based on your votes in the comment section below. So if you would like to message me with ideas and send me a photo, you can do that on my Instagram account that's also linked in the description box. And if you want to collaborate, we can do that over video chat. Just go ahead and message me. On my Instagram account, Joyful Day DIYs. This is a clown Lolita dress that I actually made over 2 years ago sometime, and it was a very simple like tube top and circle skirt. So just like last week's, this dress could easily be made in an afternoon. So if you'd like to see another clown Lolita dress be made, go ahead and vote for that in the comment section. Also, it was my birthday this week, so I did receive a package and I wanted to show that now. I got a birthday package from a subscriber! Thank you, Shelly! So I just wanted to open this and see what it is because I'm so excited. There was some mishap with my address and I had to go and get it over at the UPS store here in town, but at least I was able to pick it up with my ID, and I got this package, so I'm really excited. So this is a dog collar. Not sure what she's trying to say about me. I guess this is the real gift. It's all wrapped up and it has a Leo picture on the side. I love this Leo because I am a Leo and it's a lion, so that's awesome. She colored it in by hand. It's really beautiful. And then there's these fun stickers. I'm gonna have to pull these off and save them. She really decorated this bag. It's really cute. And it says, "Happy birthday, Joy." What? Oh, this is so cool. This is a 5-volt USB LED strip. So I'm actually going to be able to hook this up and have like a strip of lights somewhere. I'm really excited about this. I don't know where I'm going to put it yet, but I will find a place and I will DIY it. What? It says sewing clips. If this is really a little tin of sewing clips, I'm gonna freak out. It's so cute. There's a picture of a little boy and a little girl with flowers. Oh my god! Look at all these sewing clips! I'm so excited! I get to use these! This is gonna be so much fun! Oh, thank you so much, Shelly! This is amazing. This is exactly what I needed. And that was awesome because, like I said, I'm a no-pin household, so these sewing clips I'm going to use for, like, everything. It's wonderful. And she sent me some nuts. This is cool. These are, chopped, walnuts. So shelled and chopped walnuts. This is awesome. You can always use chopped walnuts for stuff, for baking, and she knows that I'm always cooking stuff and making all kinds of desserts and everything. I got these fun packages. These are really pretty, and they're decorative, and they're perfect for like all kinds of crafts. So I don't know what I will use out of these yet, but I will definitely make something. So this is interesting. This is a piece of like cozy soft material, and it looks like it's a rope. So I don't know if there's, oh, there's something that goes with it. What is this? Okay. What? I love this. It's a Leo mug. So this has like my astrology symbol, Leo, and it says confident, ambitious, loyal, generous, and humorous. I love this. This is so cute. It's beautiful. I'm totally gonna use that all the time. I love tea and I drink coffee every once in a while. So that's gonna definitely be of good use. And then I also got some pistachio in shell nuts. This is great. These are really good. These are great as a snack. Now this is the other piece of that blue material. Oh wow, it's a bathrobe and it's quite comfy. I love it. This is gonna work great. Okay, and then there's this other package in here, along with several more of these bags. Shelly knows that I love these little bags, and I've made all kinds of things in the past with these, so I'm really excited about getting a bunch of these because I haven't seen them anymore in the dollar stores near me. What? Now, I'm not sure what this is, but I'm so excited about it. What? What? Okay, so it's white and it's already soft and fuzzy. So no matter what it is, I'm gonna love it. But then I saw that this has this little tag right here, and it shows it's a sweater. Oh, and it's so soft and comfy. I'm really excited about this. Over here, there's a lot of days where it's just like kind of chilly, but not cold enough to wear a jacket. And this is the perfect thing. This is super cozy. And because it's white and like fuzzy, I can still wear it with all my fun Lolita stuff. What? What is this? Oh, wow. This is really pretty. So this is another sweater, and it's like a knit sweater. It's gorgeous. I don't know if you can tell, but it's like white and cream in here, like a pinkish cream. It is really beautiful. Almost looks like a peach. It's really pretty. And it's so soft. So thank you so much, Shelly. This is adorable. I love it. It's gonna be super comfy to just lounge around in. Oh, I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for my gift. I really appreciate what you did. And I really, really love these little clips. They have already been a lifesaver. So if you don't have some of these wonderful little clips, you might want to go out and get them because they're so helpful for all of my little projects. I literally just dropped one and I can't find it. So I'm just really grateful that these are little clips and not push pins, because if you drop a push pin, you're probably going to find it and it's not going to be in a fun way. So I just really love that I use these and safety pins and keep a pin-free household for the most part. So this is part 2 of the Lolita Rococo inspired dress, and I'm really excited to finish this. Super excited to send this out because this is a birthday gift for my best friend Shelly, and I am so excited to finally be able to tell you guys that. I was going to tell you guys all about this being a birthday present last week, but realized that I wasn't going to get it done, so I didn't want her to find out by watching a video. So I'm really excited to announce, yes, happy birthday, Shelly. This is your dress, and I cannot wait for you to have it. Also, I'm sending this out way before Saturday when this uploads. That way, the surprise won't be ruined. So the materials for this week, we're going to use the fabric that we already cut out from last week, and we're going to use elastic, we're going to use safety pins probably, and we're going to use these push pins that I just got, and then we're not push pins. We're going to use these clips that I just got, and we're going to use scissors, elastic, the 1/4 inch elastic is perfect, and the fabric, of course, that we already just cut out last week. We're also going to need thread and our sewing machine, or if you're really patient, you can go ahead and hand sew this. It would take a lot of doing, and I just remember first time I ever hand sewed anything, I made curtains, and it just took me forever. And then the threads that I had hand sewed it with just seemed really like loose stitches. They didn't seem like they were gonna last for a long time. But anyways, they were just curtains, it worked out, so I'm sure that you can make it work somehow if you really want to just hand sew. I'm gonna go ahead and start with the skirt, and what I'm gonna do to start off is just take the very top where the smallest curved edge is, and I'm going to be folding that down a tiny smidge, folding it down a tiny smidge more, and roll hemming this entire top line. I'm going to be doing this because I'm going to be attaching this section to the top, and so because I'm going to attach this to the bottom edge of the top, I'm going to want this to have a really good edge and not fray after I have it put together. So I'm going to go ahead and make this a nice good top edge by roll hemming it. And then I'll work on the top piece before doing anything more to the bottom of this skirt, because I don't want to roll hem it and figure out how this curved edge is going to go until after it's attached, so that I can see how that's going to look. When roll hemming, it is important to try and get this part of the stitch as close as you can to this side, or else it does kind of pucker and doesn't make a nice stitch. So I just, and then you can see that I've sewn it as close as I could get to the very edge. So I just wanted to mention that when you are sewing, every once in a while, sometimes your needle can bust off while you're using it. And when that happens, I have decided that I use a little pill bottle as a little mini sharps container, and this is perfect because then I can take all of those little pieces and any broken needles that I ever get from before, and any broken needles that I might get from a safety pin, I just pop them in here, and then that way I know that it's safe and it's not gonna fall, or I'm not gonna lose these little pieces all over my house somewhere. Okay, now that I have roll hemmed this edge, I have decided that I'm gonna do a mock-up of the top that I wanna make with some fabric that I don't really care too much about. That way I can adjust that and figure out exactly how I want to make the pattern. And I'll show you once I've got that part figured out. So what I ended up doing is taking this Evie vest that I made a few videos ago, and I basically used this as a basic pattern for the top, because all I really needed was the vest and for it to not quite close in the front. So what I did was just use the same pattern and created a mock-up with this cream colored sheet that I just had laying around. And now I am going to cut out the two front panels. So how I'm going to do that is I put the nice sides facing each other and laid the two front pieces of the nice material that I'm going to be using for the top and laid it down in the square. And then I'm going to be cutting along the edge here, right where this is, that, and right around here. And I'm going to be leaving a little bit of a seam allowance so that I can go ahead and roll hem all of those edges. So now I'm just going to go ahead and cut all that out. So these are going to be my two front panel pieces. And then I just did the same thing for the back panel and folded it over so that it would be the one back panel piece. Now I have all three of the top pieces and the skirt pieces. So what I'm going to do is start by adding the shoulder pieces to the top, and I'll do that by folding the back piece out and then lining up the two shoulder straps sections. So here's one, and here's the other one. Now I'm lining them up nice sides facing each other because we want to have the seams on the inside. So I also noticed that the back panel is somehow shorter by about an inch to an inch and a half. And I'm just going to straighten that up. Now I can see what I need to cut off, and I'm just going to trim down this edge here. And now I'm going to start sewing these corners. So what I'm going to do is sew the shoulder. So I'm going to sew the shoulder seam and the side seams of both of these, and I'll show you how I did that. Don't forget to backstitch. So this is the shoulder. And all I'm doing is a straight stitch on all of these so that I can make sure that they are how I want them to be. Like just now, I guess this part of the shoulder didn't get sewn. Okay, so I've got that part down. Now I'm going to do this side section. Okay, now that I've got this side done, I'm going to switch to the other side, and I'll show you what I do after I've sewn both of these two sides on the other side of this vest section. Now I have basically made a little vest of a shirt, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to curve these 2 points right here in the front of the shirt, and so I line these edges up so that they'll be curved evenly, and then I'm just going to snip like a tiny bit off of here. See? And that just rounded the edges at the top of the neckline for the little jacket thing, the little vest section. Okay, so now that we have this, I am going to roll hem all of the edges all the way around. I might not roll hem the sleeves just because I'm going to be turning them inside out anyway with the shoulder. So I'm just going to roll hem the edges, the bottom, and the neckline basically. To roll hem the edges, what I'm doing is I'm starting at about the center of the neckline, folding it over once, folding it over twice with just a little bit, and trying to stay right along the very edge of this here line. Now I have the vest done. So what I'm going to do is attach the skirt to the bottom of this section. And how I'm going to do that is taking this rolled hem edge and taking the rolled hem edge that we just did with the skirt and lining them up together, making sure that this edge and this edge are the same length. And I cannot even believe this, but it's just about perfect. I don't know how I did that, but it's great. I'm really happy. It's like maybe half an inch off. I'm like, cannot even believe I did not measure. I have no idea how I got that right. So that's awesome. So now what I'm going to do is take the very center of the back of the bodice and use a clip that I got. Where are my fun clips? Here they are. And I'm just going to select the center. And so how I'm going to do that is grab this section, pull it from, grab both sides, pull it to this, each to the one side, and then right here is the very center. So I'll put my little pin here, my little fun clip, and then I'm going to do the same thing to the back. And this is the bottom of the back. This is that bottom edge, and I'm going to grab this pin that I just put in this side. I'm going to put good sides facing each other. And then pin those two pieces with this clip together. And then I'll go out about 6 inches, maybe a little longer, and clip another one. And I'm just going to put these clips all the way around of this seam that I'm trying to put together. This is awesome. I cannot believe how perfectly these ended up. So about every 6 to 8 inches I just put a clip to hold my spots. That way one piece of my fabric won't be moving around when I'm sewing. This is just so wonderful that I get to use these fun clips instead of having to use safety pins, because usually I do use safety pins and it just takes a little longer to put them in and out all the time of each of the fabrics. So this super fast. I mean, I just pinned all these together with these clips and just took me a few minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and sew this line and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done with that. Don't forget to backstitch. I didn't think about this, but I should have just added my elastic piece right when I was doing this piece. So if you guys want to, go ahead and add your elastic pieces and then just make sure that you pull it tight as you sew along. I'm gonna have to do it afterwards. Now that I have the skirt part attached to the top, I can try it on. And remember I said I wanted to cut off a portion of the skirt? Now that I have it attached to the top, it's easy to tell that I would like this corner rounded off of both sides. So I'm going to place both of these corners together so that we round them off equally. And what I'm doing basically is going to take off probably this portion, and I'm just going to cut from starting right here to right there, and just cut this section right here off. And that will give us a curved edge for the front part of our bodice, or the front part of our skirt is what I meant to say. So that'll give us the curved edge for the front part of our skirt. So that'll give us the curved edge for the front part of our skirt once we cut this section off. So about this much. Now that this is done, I can grab this edge and roll hem it all the way around until I get to this side. For this edge, it is really important that you make sure to hit that very lower edge of your material when you're sewing, because this edge really will show if you sew down the middle or sew down the other edge, because it'll pucker and it'll bend over and it won't look like a nice edge. So it's really important to just sew slowly and make sure that you're getting right on that edge. For this edge, it is really important that you make sure to hit that very lower edge of your material when you're sewing, because this edge really will show if you sew down the middle or sew down the other edge, because it'll pucker and it'll bend over and it won't look like a nice edge. So it's really important to just sew slowly and make sure that you're getting right on that edge. To figure out how to do the sleeve, just drape a piece of fabric over your shoulder. Find out where you want your armpit to be and put a clip there, and find out where you want your armhole to be, put a clip there. Find out where you want your length to be, and that's where I cut off that fabric. And so this is just a mock sleeve, so I don't care that there's a little rip in it. And I'm going to basically just cut out right where I put these pins. So here and here. So I'm going to take this much fabric and just chop it off. Now you should have something like this. And I'm just going to attach this section to the inside of my sleeve, but not really, because this is not the right fabric. But once I get the right fabric, I'm going to be attaching this side to the inside of the sleeve and attaching this part to that bell that we want to add to the end of our sleeve. And then I'm going to be attaching that bell to this part of the end of our sleeve. So I have been shopping all over the place now, and my local Joann Fabrics does not have any of this fabric, not even a remnant. And I had the clerk check at any of the nearby Joann Fabrics. She said there doesn't happen to have a Joann Fabrics anywhere in the state that is going to have this fabric. And she even checked California and they didn't have any. So I'm gonna have to use the green for the sleeves on this, and I really wasn't planning on doing that, but I think that it will look fine to go ahead and do that, and it will at least finish this dress and give really pretty bell sleeves, and I really don't think it will look too bad. It won't look bad at all. I'm hoping that it looks really nice. And I think it'll look really nice. So we're gonna go ahead and do that because I don't have any choice at this point, and these scrap fabrics that I have are just not enough to make a sleeve. So I'm using this green, and I did show you basically how yesterday I made a little pattern of what I would like to use for a sleeve, and so because I need to have two of those, I am just folding myself off a piece of fabric that I think will be wide enough to do both sleeves, and I'm just gonna grab my little sleeve that I basically kind of cut out, that's just and grab my sleeve that I cut out, and it's not, you know, perfect, but it'll work for what I need. And this part's on a fold, so you just make sure that you line your folds up together, and then you'll cut out one and cut out the other one. I would like to cut out both at the same time, so I'm trying to find a way to fold this to where I can do that. Okay. So I'm taking my pattern piece and just putting it over the top, and then I'm just going to cut two of these out. And if you put two pieces together and do that, then that will give you both of your sleeves at the same time, which is what I did. So now what I need to do is put these pieces together, and I'm going to sew up the arm sleeve, but not all the way. So I'm going to leave about 2 inches from the top out because I need to add the bells part to that part of the sleeve, and then from the shoulder part of the sleeve, what I'm going to do to that section is I'm going to leave probably a good 2 inches out from that side as well, because I'm going to want to sew this part into the inside of the sleeve of this part of the dress. So all I'm going to do is sew from about right here to about right here, leaving about 2 inches out on both sides of both of the sleeves. So now I'm just going to sew the sleeves from here to here together, both of these sides, so that that will make a sleeve for the arm. So after you trim your edges, you have a sleeve that looks like this, and you have your edges right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the circle part for the sleeve, and so I already have one basically because I cut the circle skirt and made this section for the center, and I'm just going to use this, and what I am really going to do is take this section out, and I will cut I'm going to be cutting out this much of a width. So what I do is I take my sleeve that's already folded in half, because it's a sleeve, and then you fold it in half one more time, and that gives you 4/4. So in order to figure out how much you need to take for your quarter, you just take this and you cut out that big of a circle. So from right here to right there. And that way I don't even have to worry about measuring this or that, and I know that this is going to fit. And so what I'm going to do next is fold another piece of green fabric and make a second one of these, and I'll show you how I attach that on. So now that we have the little skirt thing that goes for the sleeve, so here's the sleeve, I put the nice sides facing each other and the not nicer side or whatever is on the outside right now. So what I'm doing is I'm going to take these clips that I have and try and find the two sides and clip those two pieces together like this. And this little outer skirt is a little bit bigger than the sleeve, and that's what's going to create the ruffle. So we wanted that to happen. We're taking now this section and taking the outermost sections and putting the clip on these, taking the two outermost sections and putting a clip on these. So how you find that section is you take the big piece of fabric right over the top of the other piece and you grab the most top corner of that and the top corner of the other one, and then pin those two together, and see how there's a little bit extra? That's going to be perfect because we're going to need that for the little bit of ruffling that we're going to be doing. And then we do the same thing to the other corner. So this will give us 4 corners of the fabric that we have clipped together, and then that is going to be fine, because what we're going to do is we want to take a piece of this fabric and as we go kind of slowly bunch up what we have. So just a tiny bit here and there. It's not even an inch. It's like maybe 1/4 of an inch of the little pockets that we're doing in each of these, like 3 of them in each of these sections in between the clips. So here's a clip and here's a clip. We're going to do 3 of those little pinches in between this clip and this other clip to get this fabric tight and this fabric up against that fabric and tight. So how we're doing this is we're going to start sewing, and I'm going to pinch one section of the circle skirt part of the sleeve. I'm going to pinch that as we're going, as I'm sewing it. So here we go. And don't forget to back stitch. We don't want these coming unraveled. Now here's where I'm starting my first pinch. And just like I did with my previous ruffle, that's all I'm doing is putting 1/4 of an inch of a ruffle, or maybe even 1/8 of an inch of a little pinch, and then sewing over it. And then doing that again 3 times in between each of these clips. We're doing this because we want the ruffle to be even. And just because that will make it even all the way around, and then we'll be bunched up in one section or something like that. So now I have a sleeve, and what I'm going to do is roll hem this whole edge around the circle part of the sleeve, and then I will do the other one. Voila! Floofy sleeves! So I'm going to do this next one, and then I will show you how I attach it to the bodice. I'm hoping that you can see how that's slightly bunched up underneath that presser foot, and then I'm sewing over that section, and all I'm going to do is pull the clip out from here and then start with my next bunch section right where that clip, just past where that clip would have been. To attach the sleeve, fold both of them inside out and have the nice sides facing each other, and then start at the armpit seam. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from the armpit seam, but like a couple inches above that armpit seam, and then work my way around, because any of the extra bunching fabric, I would like that to happen at the very top of this sleeve. There's not a lot of bunching, but if you do have bunching, that's fine. It's just going to give you a cute little poof sleeve right there. So just remember to keep all of that extra fabric towards the shoulder section, because you don't want bagging underneath your armpit. It's doesn't look right. So we're just gonna start from right here and do a straight stitch or a zigzag stitch. It won't show, so you can go ahead and do either one right here and all the way up to about right there. And then once you get up to the top of here, and if there is any bunching, just go ahead and do that scrunching technique like I showed you just a minute ago on that last sleeve section. Now what you want to do is use safety pins or clips to mark where exactly you want those 3 ties to go. And so I have this marked out, and I'm going to go ahead and sew the ties to right here on the inside seam of this. So I went ahead and I attached the sleeve to the dress, and I'm really not happy because I realized that I attached it inside out. So I'm going to have to pick this off and reattach it. So make sure that when you have this sleeve and you're about to put it on right, make sure that when you fold it back out, it will be the right side out before starting to sew. So what I do to make the ties is after I have sewn them down one side, I fold it in half to create 2 ties because I need to be able to tie them together. And I cut right here, and then with this edge I kind of shape it to kind of make a circle-ish shape at the tip, and then what I do from there is I sew that edge in a U shape after I've cut it like that, and then I sew it, and then what I do is to turn this inside out, I stick one of these clips, kind of poke a little bit of a hole to the corner, not really a hole, but start sliding it through itself, and then I put one of these inside of it to help to kind of use that to kind of pinch through the material. Kind of like that. And then once you get it turned out inside out, it looks like this. So now I'm going to be able to sew this part to the top, and then I'll be able to tie those 2 ties together. I'll show you what I mean. So now I have attached the sleeves, and what I'm going to do next is get those ties. So I cut out some long strips of material, and what I'm doing is I fold each one in half and sew straight down like this, and then I'm going to flip this inside out with a safety pin. I'll just attach it to this side and then stick the safety pin through here and shimmy it through itself. And I have some that I have already sewn right here, so that's what I'm going to do next with these. And I'm going to need 3 on each side, so a 6 in total. And basically what I wanted to do is just make sure that it's long enough to actually tie those ties in a little bow in the front. So it's, I would say, maybe 2.5 feet for each of these strips, and I would say a good 2.5 inches wide so that I can fold them over and sew. And so that's what I did, and I'm about to finish these, flip them inside out, and I'll show you what I do next. I ended up using a bed skirt and cutting it in half, and then I roll hemmed it so that I could use this for a ruffle, so that I could make this and use it for a ruffle. So what I'm doing is I'm gonna just grab the edge on the inside and do a straight stitch and attach one side of the ruffle all the way around the whole perimeter, the neckline, and it goes all the way down to around the bottom of the skirt. So that's what I'm gonna do to make this whole dress have a beautiful ruffle. I made her this mask, these 2 anklets, and a head bow. I think she's really going to love this set.
Bow, 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 from my head down to my toe. I love my little bow. Bow, 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 everywhere I go. You know I love my bow.